Hi, this is Stuart Talley. I'm the partner here responsible for the defective hip litigation. Many people have recently heard in the media and through various news outlets that DePuy may be announcing or shortly announcing a settlement of approximately 1,000 ASR hip cases that are now pending around the country. If you have a DePuy ASR, you may have heard about a previous settlement that took place last year, and now we have another one. To give a brief explanation of how we got where we are now, previously there were about 14,000 cases pending against DePuy. These were people who had ASR hips put in. Some of them had to have the hips revised, some of them didn't. Last November, so that's November of 2013, DePuy announced that they were going to be making a settlement offer for anyone that had a DePuy ASR hip that was revised prior to August of 2013. There were about 7,000 cases that fell into that bucket of cases. Those cases, most of them accepted the settlement offer that was proposed by DePuy. And most of those cases have now been resolved, paid, and dismissed. Now we are at a point where we have people that had revision surgeries after August of 2013, all the way up through the present. So the settlement that is being reported in the paper, and that many people are talking about, is what I call a round 2 settlement. It's a settlement to compensate those people that fell out of the bucket for round 1. So these are people who had surgeries, revision surgeries, after of August of 2013 to the present. Many people have been calling us and asking us, what does that settlement look like? As far as we know, and we have no inside information at this point, and based on expectations and things I've heard in court though, what we fully expect is that the round 2 settlement will be the same settlement as the round 1 settlement. And basically under the round 1 settlement, there are 2 sort of categories. The first is what we call the Part A award. And a Part A award is a basically compensation that you would get if you had your ASR hip revised. And you start off with a base award. The base award would be $250,000. At least that's what it was in round 1. $250,000. That number gets reduced by various things. If you're a smoker, it gets reduced. If you are have a high BMI and may be considered obese, you would get a reduction for that. If you are over a certain age, you can have a reduction. If you have the hip in for more than 5 years before it's taken out, you can have a reduction. And each year you have it in, it gets reduced anymore. It can be reduced more. The lowest you can get under the settlement for a base award is $150,000. So the settlement that occurred for round 1 people, the settlement ranges for the base award were between $250,000 to $150,000. Most people qualified for the $250,000. Now, that is a guaranteed payment. So that means if you had the hip, it was revised, we run you through this formula. If you qualify, you get the money. The second part of the settlement is what we call Part B, or it's also known as the Extraordinary Injury Fund. So with respect to the round 1 settlement, the defendants put a certain amount of money into a pot to cover people that had what we call extraordinary injuries. And there were certain categories of injuries that can easily be verified from medical records that qualified for an extraordinary injury. They would include dislocations after your revision. They would include re-revisions. So they take the hip out, put a new one in, but there's something wrong with the hip and they have to re-revise it. It would include people with infections. If you had an infection after the hip was taken out and you needed IV antibiotics, you get more money. If you need to have the hip removed and IV antibiotics and then another surgery, you would get money for that as well. So there are various claims, types of injuries that qualify for more money. We fully expect the DePuy ASR round 2 settlement to be the same as round 1. Hopefully payments and processing will be much quicker because now the infrastructure has been set up. In round 1 it took about 9 months to get people paid after the settlement was announced. In this case I would expect 3 or 4 months hopefully. The other thing to know about the round 1 settlement, which would most likely be the same in round 2, is that there are no liens taken out. Liens are basically the right of your insurance carrier, your health insurance carrier, to get compensated for medical bills spent on your revision surgery and any treatment you had after revision. Liens are something that would come out of the client's share typically under most fee agreements, and they could be pretty excessive. This case is unique because DePuy is paying all the liens on top of the $250 or on top of the extraordinary injury claim amount. So the clients don't actually have to worry about liens. There are no deductions for liens. So if you have a DePuy ASR and it hasn't been revised, or it has been revised and you think you're going to fall within this round 2 settlement, it's very important that you contact a lawyer right away. One of the clauses in round 1, which encouraged people to hire lawyers, was that if you didn't have a lawyer, your settlement would actually be reduced by 35%. And the reason for that is that the claims process is incredibly complex. There's lots of forms, lots of legal jargon, lots of stuff you have to do on the internet to submit the claims the right way. And they really wanted to encourage people with claims to hire lawyers to help them process the claims. And so for that reason, they had this 35% deduction. So if you have one of these hips, it really almost costs you nothing to bring a lawyer in to help you fill out the forms and process you through the framework of the settlement, and also to evaluate whether you have a legitimate extraordinary injury claim. And if you do, there's a lot that goes into presenting that to get you the most money. So if you have a DePuy ASR, give us a call. You can reach us at the phone number on the screen or visit our website and fill out one of our online forms.